Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today na month end, Friday, number 30 day for this month for September 2022. My name na Capo Daniel, the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council and the Deputy Defense Chief of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, aka Sense Pass King, una own countryman. Una welcome to our daily podcast. A program where they bring una meaningful information, the truth, fact-based analysis, where they help we as we waka for this journey to our freedom, to the independence of Ambazonia. Good citizens of Ambazonia, this episode for this our podcast will be titled Amba to Amba. It focuses on our internal Ambazonian positioning, wrangling, politics, whatever you may choose to call it, as we gear up for the 1st of October, the day where Ambazonia celebrates Independence Day, will never be effectuated till date. 1st of October, na the National Day of Ambazonia, where all sons and daughters of Ambazonian nationality they celebrate their independence, their nationality, and their identity. One of the greatest problem where Ambazonia get them, na Ambazonian them by themselves. We get jealousy, envy amongst us, where it cause confusion, division amongst our lay people them. People they don't know A from B, they don't know left to right when it come within our Ambazonian struggle. But one thing it be for certain, our people know what they want. Our refugee, when you talk to them, those who have crossed the border into Nigeria, they have one message to us: keep on fighting. We cannot return home under Cameroon control. Our people on the ground, they say the same. We want independence and nothing else. There is no way we can continue to stay with this French Boulou Beti regime of Yaoundé. Their resilience have been tested and proven for over 5 years. They still hold and uphold increasingly the 4 pillars of our liberation movement. 1. The ban of all Cameroon government schools and boycott of Cameroon schools. 2. Which is the most important, the rejection and denial of political participation. That means they make no lawyer, no man present himself say he represent Ambazonia for inside la Republique du Cameroon as a mayor or an elected leaders, and the rejection of all Cameroon representative in terms of administration within Ambazonia land. Number 3, economic sabotage, the banning of all production of export goods within Ambazonia for la Republique du Cameroon to end their exploitation, and the rejection of brasseries as a symbolic rejection of Cameroon culture of corruption, pollution and intoxication with alcohol, sex and drugs. And number 4, the rejection of all Cameroon institutions, the banning of the election in our territory, rejection of the military and policemen on our street. This one is for certain. Ambazonia will continue to resist Cameroon occupation and rule until we attain self-governance and independence at the recognition of our independence by the United Nations and other independent states globally. Now, from Amba to Amba, the issue about leadership it don't always be a contention and where they bring out the worst in Ambazonians. They always talk say, if you go for hell, you try for save one person, you send rope for day. No man no go be safe because all man you go to drag the one way the one go for front, all man go and be now the first one way you go come out for inside that hell. Now the same thing we did for Ambazonia. All man in one be leader, all man want make a voice come out. Some people they take communication to our people like a social media experiment, sending out fake alerts, fake messages just to be seen and do things just to get attention, even when they don't have anything well calculated or befitting for our people their liberation for put out there. Some other people them they take competition amongst themselves, maybe some even amongst activists, and they see some one way rise up like a direct challenge to their own ego and their own performance. Ambazonians they run 10 PhD into pull him down. Our job now for bring other people then down for bring other groups and down, for feel say go make we go be up or make our own group then be up. This will be unpatriotic, it be on counterproductive. Our struggle it be so serious. The life at stake and the life lost, the property, money and time spent by our people, the risks they have taken and the risks many people have taken deserve that we all put Ambazonian first and should be driven in everything we do, in everything we say, to be disciplined and make sure it has something to contribute to our nation and not just ourselves or our groups, but we put Ambazonian first. These have been the driving principle with us, I can say and testify in the Governing Council, which we remind ourselves in every meeting we gather for the sake of Ambazonia. But first, I want us to take a listen to John Akoro, the leader of the consortium, in one of his speech where he discussed the issues about unity and about leadership. We know this is a driving force between the contention between many other groups. And I want to remind our people that all the nationalist group had gathered under SCACUF, form a founding document that would serve as a reference point for the liberation of Ambazonia, and that document was completely disregarded and shattered. Nevertheless, let us listen, because when you talk, say, for Ambazonia, say some one person be leader, the other one they be agitating, they go feel say some man do want take some money power where you don't belong with ye, or some man do want force himself as a leader upon people. So make we listen and make we listen very carefully.
Reignite a platform that serves as our clearinghouse to resolve our differences, serves as our staging board to take common decisions, serves as our staging board to promote unity and synergy on ground zero where it is most needed in preparation for this time that is to come.
So John Akoro in the talk say we need forget one group where they like a clearinghouse where all man if he come for the one problem and they then resolve them, if he get exchange for the this idea would preach 3 years ago. Would preach and say we need some type of a liberation council, someone call them so many different names them. We all leader them if he come for the then if he talk. As a matter of fact, we be done get the same thing. But anyway, let us go ahead and I will bring you the point as John Akoro will explain.
Put it again differently. Perhaps it will be better understood. If you go back to the SCACUF days, all the groups, movements and organizations were at least under one umbrella. We had some interesting experiment through the conclave system. Finally, at the third conclave in Canaan land, we put in place a governing council that could give room for us to have one leader, but whose leader will operate in collaboration with the leaders or representatives of all the groups, movements, and organizations. I beg your pardon. That is why you notice that when Ayuk Tabe emerged as the chairman of the governing council, it was not because the group from which he emerged was one of the frontline groups. It's because they actually felt that anyone could become the chairman of the governing council because there was a leadership council which eventually was misconstrued into something called how did they call it in this IG system? I think they called it
So we know John Akoro problem very well. Make I explain them for our people. They make una know the truth and the facts. These are well documented. When all the nationalist group they become together, when they be convoked by the leadership for the consortium where we come up for ground zero, they become form one organization called SCACUF. Where that organization it be bring all the nationalist movement and they agree say the way forward for solve the problem we be face and for inside Cameroons, now for fight for independence, not be fight again for federation. At that time, all the leadership them, the various group the way they be did it, 7 in number, they be create which way they call them the leadership council. That leadership council it be choose one person like their chairman, where be being a Tasang Wilfred, where you go to talk on behalf of them. Then they be create a secretariat where they call them say governing council, where now you go to do the day-to-day job, now you go to do the diplomacy and all those things on behalf of the leadership council for Skakuf. The first chairman, be na Ayoktabi as he talk, it be na Atam Milan. It will be the secretariat. So you will get two leadership body. The secretariat will be na the governing, it will be transformed later to the governing council, and then you get the leadership council. The leadership council, it will be na the group where it supervise the secretariat. It will be na the one way it oversee the secretariat. The secretariat no fit take measure decision where no come back for can consult the leadership council, and the leadership council, if you call them to order, it will be na the best form where no dispute no be there, no man no for the toxin and me I did before. At that time, any group if you call something it will be. But wait it be happen practically. Now say wait, the leadership council, a chairman will be a superior, will be like president. The secretary will be like prime minister where they take order for you on how they do the government business. But because at Milan it be the overshine and the over push your own things them, it be the ignore the leadership council. The leadership council will be led by Tassan Wilfred, where it be na from ground zero. It be big complex because it no be the shine the person where be there for diaspora, and it be get the respect where Atta Milan be get them. It no be there for front. So he too start begin fight Atta Milan. Atta Milan also try for begin push his own policy away from them. They start begin fight now who go to control money, now who no go to control money. That is the beginning of the Amba to Amba problem. But the thing na say Atta Milan, he decide for sideline the leadership council because he be say that they disturb it, where it be wrong and it be against the law, where they be give it that power from that particular law. Then the leadership council, they be frustrated. Now say they be take and bring Seseko can enter take the leadership council for the power of the position for the secretariat, where be designated now as the chairman. The Atta Milan when I be put Seseko for inside the chairman for he for fight back against the Tassan Wilfred. When I be they say na be the head, na be the only one show he say na be na supposed to control it. You know if they take money away, they approve them, or way they come through them. So for you for start show this challenge, Tassan Wilfred it also the Foxy for stand to for front. Me then say and to say na be leader. Now the problem that way is for Ambazonia leadership issue. So when they be put Seseko a popularity it be strong. Tassan Wilfred be fit fighty. The apex of that battle it become end for the Conclave, the Zaria Mafia way, Seseko decide for ignore the law them, disregard the law, go against the law where be sure saying that the leadership council is supposed to control it. He go make Conclave where not tear them their agenda, it can transform them into government. That is the main problem. Because of that, the leadership council naturally dissolve. All the nationalist movement, they start operate by themselves. Now the way they group them like APLM and the governing council where they be one in a self-defense, they just have focus for their own things that they go. So Seseko, it talks to me, they leave their own team, them can't join it. They talk to we know if he can't join you because you don't chakara the constitution. Go create your own thing you want. You go bring now the country head them can replace the people then where be fit get supervision. At that time will be they make the case say those country head them, they not be competent, they not be knowledgeable enough, they not go be brave enough or strengthened politically for challenge or supervise the so-called IG where they be done creator and will be perfectly right. So let us continue.
The leadership council was made up of the leaders of all the groups, movements, and organizations that were initially under SCACUF and that were moved under the governing council. So you could have.
So John Bakurodi talks say all the leadership council they be satisfied somehow because all man be know say they get chance to become president of the leadership council. But wait at one point out now say that institutional leadership where they give leadership now by vote, it no go ever work because una go see even though the leadership council it be na the head, no man no be the see them like head and it be the vex them because they get ego. So leadership for Seseko it become now because of which he be the doer. The same with Atta Milan, it become now wait away it then they do them. They be just be wrong for go try for change the law for transform the institution illegally for create the IG when I cause the rift. Then they start force people the way they be above them, say me they can't join them, walk under them in terms of ranking. So it be just be impracticable. Leadership as we don't gain through experience, it need to come now because institution them vote you or they elect you. It come now about what way you do, how you inspire the people, how you provide leadership in terms of solving solutions and challenging La Republic on the ground, giving weapons to fight their military, opposing what they are doing in propaganda, fighting them in diplomacy. Leadership becomes when you take responsibility and you take lead for do these things them. So even when Seseko be leader for that Skakuf way, he then separate himself illegally for form the IG, he be the worry because he be the see other people that they take responsibility where he the fear for take him, and he be making it be angry and he be very vexed with the people the way they go for self-defense to the extent where he be decide for even apologize for La Republic. So see say the greatest problem we get them now the ego where people they need to feel accept other people them their success in leading the country for do it way they want for do them. You see some man they do something fine, you wish say now you be there for that place or now you supposed for the do them. So you know like you that man, then you want try for bring it down. That is a very big danger we'll get them for inside Ambazonia.
With the leadership council. So it was complementary. So the leadership council was a regulatory body making sure that whoever will be the chairman of the governing council cannot have solo powers that allows that one to either betray the movement or take the movement astray.
So this concern of John Bakoro, it actually be valid. There is always a danger out there. Say if one person be leader, we no get no account, the other leaders they no get no way for wholly to account. If he mislead us or if he go make a wrong decision or a decision for your own personal benefit. So they always be concerned when Dr. Cho Ayaba be seen as a leader. But that concern will already be valid because Dr. Cho publicly assure all Ambazonians he will never take measured decisions on our liberation struggle without engaging the other leaders of the various nationalist movements, and he don't always keep to that promise. And the need for understand say when they call Dr. Cho Ayaba leader of our war of liberation, now because he provide the leadership, he don't take the responsibility, and he be the most influential and consequential person when it comes for our confrontation with La Republic du Cameroon. There is no second. That is not to diminish any other person. It's just to acknowledge the reality. His policies for self-defense, his inspiration to the soldiers have brought us and keep us where we are to be able to hold the resistance where it is. Just because he is acknowledged or called as the leader of our liberation war does not mean that he has put himself as the head of state. There is no need for any contestation or people to fight the leadership of Dr. Cho Ayaba simply because they are worried that he can take decisions by himself without including them. There is no evidence of that.
For the simple reason that it was going to end up the way it ended, with the creation of strong men here and there. That is where we are today. So
we should not be afraid of the creation of strong men unless it is men that do not have regulation. In terms of war, there must be strong men. There must be strong leadership in terms of war. And that leadership, if war leadership, should not be confused to a head of state, which we have made clear to our people in several occasions.
I talk about unity, synergy. I'm saying a people move, and at some point, you recognize that we have made mistakes. You come and sit back down and you make amends to some of these situations to create an environment that enables you to overcome serious challenges before you. Our diaspora today is totally fractioned because of group obedience. This group will say, I have the best texts, I have the best organic structure, I have the best all this and that. All of you come and join me. That is their form of collaboration. For some people, collaboration means simply go into your LGA, sync into your LGA, and you are under me, and that is collaboration and there's unity.
That is a big mistake. I think he is trying to talk to about the egg of C. When the egg of C say we have the best organigram, we have the best structure and all those stuff, it is for Ambazonian to take pride in what we say. We have never asked any group to melt themselves and join the egg of C. No. We have said that when there are differences or when decisions are made, people should adopt best practices and what is good for the country. We have never said that other people should melt and join us because we are the best. No, we haven't. Ambazonians should take pride in the best. Any soldier who is very good, we all take pride in them. Shouldn't that be the same in the leadership structure?
When we came up with the Washington Collaborative Conference. That initiative sent shockwaves down the spines of La République du Cameroon because all our groups, movements, and organizations.
So I want Jomba Koro and our people to know that the Washington Collaborative Platform or conference that was held was an initiation that was initiated by still us, who are today officials of the AGOFC. Myself, Capo Daniel, and Lucas Asu, we came up with that idea. We called in Patriot in Canada, which we believe were neutral, to bring our leaders together. The IG at that time, led by Chris Anu and Sako, rejected to go to Canada because they thought that it was something being managed by members of the AGOFC. They brought it to Washington. And what happened? Every unity and thing that were accepted there was later on rejected by Sako because they thought when you make the field level, those who are more efficient will emerge. So that is still the problem we have. Our inability to accept competence, to accept that somebody is doing something better than what you are doing, for you to accept that thing and adopt it, or for you to even promote something that you don't feel is in your own group or part of you.
But it did not last the Christmas festival. From there, we were able to try again, and we came up with the SCLC, with the Southern Cameroon's Liberation Council, which was an opportunity where all the groups, movements, and organizations will come together within a council, maintain their group identities, all this.
So the Southern Cameroon Liberation Council was initiated, and we saw that there were federalists who came there. There were other people. It wasn't focused on the nationalist movement. And that is why they had objection. We had objection with people out of that cycle. There have been groups that have mushroomed themselves and multiplied themselves just to have more vote. It will not work like that. And it is the same thing, the same problem we keep on pointing with even the act. You find that you have APLM and then you have SOCADEF. Those are two groups under one leader and it's one institution. The AGOFC cannot say the ADF is different from the AGOFC. So the IG cannot come and say the IG is different from the AR, or how do you call their force? For the meantime, our leadership, we for the governing council, we are engaged in bilateral relationship, because each time you bring groups to join together to form a common clearinghouse, as John Bakuro have said, which is the right thing. But it cannot work because you have groups that call themselves IG and they claim to have exclusive power in representing the state, exclusive power in making decisions, and that does not work. So if you think that you are the only one who have the right to carry army, then you start fighting that they should kill the other armies on the ground. And then John Bakuro, he went to make a big lie at the end, which is something I want to point out. But we do agree with this issue of leadership having a clearinghouse and all those things. But the problem is we have tried before, it didn't work. Can it work in the future? If it works or not, our focus right now is liberation. We'll continue to engage every group bilaterally until we can be able to form consensus, and we'll continue to consult with every other group in making measured decisions.
To examine conflicting situations and resolve them without them coming out to the public and tarnishing the image of our movement. Like what happened just a few days ago. That we have.
So I want you people to know, listen to Jomba Kuro. They are telling you that what happened in Balinyonga is a reflection of the crisis of leadership. This is to tell you that soldiers are being manipulated to act in a certain way because of some people are not happy with the way things are going, with them feeling isolated from leadership rule. Anyway, let's listen.
Shooting a video to brandish fighters of the ADF as kidnappers. Of course, the ADF itself has also had to capture fighters of other groups and brandish them as kidnappers.
So this is just a complete, this is not true. The ADF has never arrested fighters of other groups and called them kidnappers. What John Bakuro just said there was a complete, not true. It wasn't true. The ADF has always respected every other group and have treated every group with respect. As a matter of fact, the ADF is the only organization that support other groups with weapons and bullets and in cash. So we are very responsible, and nobody should feel threatened by ADF being dominant or ADF being effective, but they should take pride in that and take cue from that. We always consult to make measured decisions. There is no decisions that we have taken that we have never consulted, and people should stop manipulating soldiers who wants to focus to fight, to use them for political manipulation. Remember that this incident in Balinyonga was highlighted in Voice of America and many other news organs. Even Ambassador Thibaut Nagy presented it as a big damage to Ambazonia, because when something touched the ADF, it is big. You can arrest 30 Ambazonian soldiers, but when you touch the ADF, it is big, because the whole world have recognized the prestige of the ADF, the Ambazonian Governing Council, the way they manage themselves, the institution in itself, the broad network, the nationalist projection of it. It is a flag bearer of Ambazonia, and everything that touches it touches us all. So it's a big responsibility. We take it seriously. We will never put group mentality in front of nationalist policy. The group there, the organization of the Ambazonian Governing Council, serves the nation and put Ambazonian first, and shake Inode. We'll continue to engage leadership to have a reasonable structure or a reasonable way to effectuate what is actually more important: collaboration, consultation. We'll keep on doing that as much as we can, because we are committed to unity in the form of collaboration. We are committed to that. That I can assure you. This is your spokesman, the spokesman of the Governing Council, Capo Daniel, signing out.